Hey folks, it's Justin Nation here from Nindie Spotlight, doing a review for the EPOS H6 Pro gaming headset. It retails for roughly $180 US, so it's definitely targeting the higher end consumer. But overall, uh, comparing it with somewhat comparable headset that I have, and some others that I've used, including EPOS's own wireless earbuds that are excellent, by the way. Um, it it's worth the price if you're willing to pay it. So starting out, one thing that immediately catches your impression as far as makes a positive impression as far as you know going for the premium uh, kind of setup. The box is actually pretty well constructed if you get it shipped to you. Um, it's pretty hefty, but the nice thing about it is you know ample padding on the inside and stuff like that to protect the headphones, so they're not going to get banged up. So if you need to transport them or stuff like that, the box is worth keeping because it's nice and sturdy and does well. Inside it actually has two different braided cables, one with one connector, so more for consoles. There's a second one that has two connectors that will connect to your PC for your mic and the headphones independently. Um, Also comes with I'll get to the microphone, but these are caps for if you take the microphone off. It's a removable mic. These are for putting in place so that you can make it still look finished and I guess protect the point of the connector for the headphones. Um, let's see. It this particular one. This particular one is green with gold highlights. It does come in different colors. I think it's just two other colors for both the. There's a open back and a closed back version. This happens to be the closed back version. The closed back, the difference being um, this top this top portion is all solid. The open back has more of a mesh to allow more sound in. The other difference is the ear cups on the open back version are all cloth. A little bit more breathable, also allow in a little bit more sound. The closed back, these are more of a leatherette on the sides than the part where it makes contact with your face is more of a soft, I don't know, maybe like a microfiber kind of thing. And then the inside is fabric. So these do retain a little bit more heat than the open, the open would with the cloth. But overall, I've worn some headphones that they get downright hot after a while. These, I'd say it's about middle of the road. It's perhaps a little bit warm compared to something, something more fabric oriented. But they also do really hold in all the sound. So it's much more immersive wearing these. If you have a somewhat noisy environment and you're worried about sound bleeding in, um, this will address that pretty well. The microphone, it's on the side, so you can move it up and down. So up to mute it, down to turn it back on. It's you can get it at different heights. It really isn't made to telescope much this way, but it positions pretty well by default. And the mic quality is excellent. So it's not as if it's not one of those where it needs to be right up on your face. It picks up everything really nicely where it is. But the nice thing about it, as I said, with the caps, that you can it's detachable. It's magnetic actually, so that it's real convenient to be able to take it off, pack it away if you're not going to use the mic. And then, like I said, it has an ear cap that is magnetic that you can just plunk into that spot. And then there's like a little perforation on the cup that helps you get it back out. Um, it doesn't have a like I've gotten used to these having like an inline on the cord, it having a volume control. This one's a little bit different. It has a dial that's on the one ear cup that it not being a physical like knob, it was a little weird getting used to it at first. But the dial on the side is just you get used to the placement of it, and then you just need to just rotate it around with your finger. It turns pretty easily. Um, let's see. Looking over my notes, just in case I don't want to miss anything. Oh, of course. I was making sure we got all the details about the physical part. But in terms of sound quality, um, it is definitely a very rich sound. Comparatively, I've got the Razer Black Shark V2 headphones, which I normally would use. Um, those are not cheap, particularly. I don't think they're quite at this premium level. But the sound fidelity on the EPOS ones, in particularly the bass tones, is much stronger on these EPOS headset. Um, it's a very meaty bass. But the nice thing is it doesn't get to the point where it distorts either, because obviously, you get into that range. If you get something that's cranking a little bit too hard, you'll get sort of distortion in the sound. You really don't get that. It's definitely a bass forward kind of sound that you get out of it. So particularly games with a lot of explosion shooting, etc., it helps you really sort of feel it much more so than lesser headphones. Um, the weight, I'd say, overall, it's a heavier headset um, than like the Razer one that I have is it's a bit lighter, but also I'd say the Razer one falls under the area where it's a little light to the point that it feels like it could be dangerous to drop it a lot. This feels a bit more hefty. It's not outright heavy, because I've also had ones where it weighs down on your head the more you wear them, type of thing. I'd say it sort of finds the middle ground nicely, where it feels more sturdy, so that these can hopefully withstand a bit more abuse, but at the same time, it's not so heavy that it causes problems for your head. Um, there's padding on the top, so right where it meets your head. So that's also nice as well. It doesn't have that, it's not cheap, sort of a cheap plastic thing that you're sort of sits on your head, and that can actually be uncomfortable after a while. It's covered in a leatherette, which also makes it a nice finish. One other thing that's nice to note is the at the point where the ear cups meet your head. This is a two-way hinge, so it pivots both up and down and in and out. So that's nice for depending on the shape of your head, because you might have an oddly shaped head like I do, or a larger head. I mean, I definitely my head is a bit on the larger side, so I'd say what these fit very well. I'd say it's a bit more of a snug fit on my daughter, who doesn't have quite as big a head. For her, it fits like optimally. These for me, like I said, it's a bit more snug. It's not uncomfortable, and actually, after a while, sort of either I got used to it, or they might have been able to give a little bit more. Um, so if you have a bigger head, that's up to you. Um, it won't come off your head for sure. But it's I'm more used to it being a little bit loose. But that may be a matter of preference. It's not uncomfortable, like I said. It's just it definitely is on the snug side if you have a big cranium like I do. Um, let's see. Is there anything else? Overall, I'd say that the quality of the mic, because we used it in a couple different situations with a little bit of background noise against, like I said, I have the Razer Black Shark V2. Um, the mic, I'd say, is a little bit better, a little bit more crisp, a little bit better at eliminating background noise. Um, Even though it doesn't have it doesn't have the muffle on it, but I'd say it does a little bit better job of isolating your voice and not picking up quite as much crap in the background. So overall, I'd say if you're much like much like the wireless earbuds that they had, if you've got the money and you're willing to pay the price, this is definitely a higher end product that you're going to get the value back. It's not, you're not just sort of throwing your money away. Um, but it certainly is pricey. Um, but if you really appreciate well-made, well-constructed things that you are getting as an investment that you're planning to use for many years, I would say this qualifies quite well. So thank you for listening, and this has been Justin Nation for Nindie Spotlight, and I'll talk to you next time.